Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Just to make sure that the process goes smoothly, I'm going to keep everybody muted until the end when we have a reasonable opportunity for you guys to be heard. And only those of you who have registered with our website will be able to speak. As of now, the only two people I had listed last time I checked were Commissioner Daniela Levine Cava and Nicholas John Osterman. So without further ado, unless I have other people joining, which I should probably have this open over here. I'm going to start, and we're going to start with a which will last from now one. Just that was silence. Third is legal, and the organization. So the second item on item 3 or item 2A. The legal status of Miami Writers Alliance with the state of Florida and the United States federal government. We have reincorporated with the state of Florida. Obviously, we had to have Alejandra removed from the incorporation so that we can continue doing the work, opening up a bank account, renting some office space so that we can become a full-fledged organization. And we've also registered with the Internal Revenue Service of the United States federal government so that we can obtain 501c4 status as a community organization, community wellness organization, welfare organization, as I think they call it. So we are just waiting until they send us back that correspondence. They said it could take up to 90 days. I'm not sure if it's going to take longer because it was included with the Christmas as well as the New Year's break. So that's what we're waiting on. And items 2B goes into what I just said. We had to change the incorporation articles with Florida to reflect that we have lost Alejandro Agredo. I will become the president and CEO as already reflected with the incorporation documents, and our COO will be resigning. This is for a few different reasons. Right now, it's a lot of work personally with the three of us that we were supposed to be doing, with opening a bank account, doing a lot of things in all of our names because we were all included in the incorporation. And unfortunately, Orion, who was our COO, lives in Florida City. And as we all know, some of us more than others, it's very hard to get out of Florida City, to where a lot of the meetings that we would have, a lot of we all lived in very different areas. Alejandro would live, of course, in Coral Gables. I live in Kendall, he in Florida City. It wasn't really matching up, and we would have meetings that he wasn't able to attend. So we talked it out, and the best option for him was to resign. He will be staying on the team. However, he's not leaving Writers Alliance anytime soon. He will become the associate social media coordinator. or media coordinator with Writers Alliance, effective immediately as soon as I get his resignation letter. So that's it with legal. Of course, any of you can ask questions. You can continue to register on our site, which is writersmiami.org, if you would like to speak at the end. And I will make sure that you are allowed to speak. Okay, somebody just joined. As I was saying, if you would like to speak at the end, you can continue registering on our site at writersmiami.org, and you can ask all the questions you want about our plans or what you feel you need to ask questions on. So item 4 is the short-term vision for Writers Alliance. So of course, Writers Alliance had a lot of visions when we had Alejandra. We still have a lot of visions. We have ideas of where we want to see ourselves this year in 2020 and at the end of 2020 into 2021 into the future. So item 2 or 4A, excuse me. We have plans for office space for our organization so that we can have a home base where we can make merchandise and all that stuff that we want to provide for our Alliance members and all those people. So we can provide services, be it reaching out to the government officials, going to meetings, keeping documents as required by Florida state law and the Sunshine Law, all of those fun things. We need a space to keep all of that. We need a space to work. So we've already raised some money through Freddie Agredo, who is Alejandro Agreto's father. He raised that in a GoFundMe, which is still active. He just hasn't closed it yet. So the office space, we've already seen some. None of them are expensive. We're not looking for lavish. We're looking for a room just to house all our documents and all that stuff. So that's that. And plans for advocacy within the transit system. As advocates, we will be going to a lot more county meetings, reaching out to more local officials. I know that personally, I've been reaching out to Commissioner Cava, who is on this call, and we're very fortunate for the work that we've been doing with her. So becoming an advocacy group, we are going to have to reach out to the public and the people that we're advocating for. So writing a lot of public transit, reaching out with those people, going to meetings with FDOT, like I did in early December. I went to a meeting with FDOT, which I tweeted about. I tweeted everything that they said. I finally got the audio recording through a Freedom of Information request or Sunshine Law request with Florida. And what I'm going to do with that as an advocacy organization, I'm a certified editor, and I'm going to create a series where we go out and ask people who are actually experiencing these hardships with the transit system along Kendall Drive to basically refute what FDOT said, that Kendall residents don't want Metro Rail, which, you know, we thought was wrong. I live in Kendall. I know that a lot of people are for Metro Rail, but I digress. That's the idea with the series. We're going to expand that series to different areas of the county. Kendall is just the one that caught our attention right away. So that's one of the ideas that we have. Another was obviously going out to places like Venture Cafe Miami, where we see a lot of different people. We can talk with a lot of different people who may not share the same viewpoint. I went a few weeks ago and I connected with some nonprofits that were there and some people. And I think that that's a very good way to interact with the public, not necessarily all of the public, but, you know, with the people who are there. And, you know, with advocacy, we have to grow our team because I can't just be doing this myself as well. You know, a lot of the work has been done through me or through Orion, and we kind of need to expand. So we're looking to do that as well. So to pay for the expenses, we've already raised some money through a GoFundMe that, of course, Freddie Agredo was so kind enough to offer us for his daughter. Um, we also have our Square account open now. We're offering memberships with the organization. Those memberships come with some items of merchandise if you donate different amounts of money. We also have some merchandise like stickers that we are able to create. We don't have to go outside to an outside company. We can produce for, we can produce for our members, and we want people to wear it proudly. I'm with Writers Alliance. I thought that was a good idea. If anybody has any other options that we would like to explore, I would be perfectly happy to take you up on that offer and listen to what you have to say. But we have the Square account open. You can find it on our Writers Miami website, writersmiami.org. And if you click the donate button that's there, you can see all of our shop items. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably put shop, but right now it's donate. You can click on it and there are a lot of different options that you can look at. There are even shirts if you're into that, and all that will go toward funding our office and our advocacy and all of the fun things that come with running an organization. So with that all said, and with our advocacy, it's very brief. I don't have this whole big system yet because we haven't even launched off the ground. But I would really love to hear what you guys have to say regarding the system and regarding our organization. So first up, I have Commissioner Daniela Levine Cava, who had registered to speak first. So I'm going to unmute her and she's going to be able to speak.
Okay.
Hi, Daniela.
Hi, Kevin, and thank you others who are on the phone. I'm going to just speak briefly and then I'll try to listen in, but I'm taking care of my 2-year-old granddaughter and she's having a hard time taking her nap. So because of this call, so a little bit complicated. But I just wanted to say that all the advocacy that riders of the transit system engage in makes a difference. I certainly learn what are some of the challenges directly from people who report in. We learn what are people's priorities, just like you were saying, Kevin. Participation in some of these studies, the public participation isn't that robust. And because the people that are really in the know and who are the riders are often okay. You'll be right back. Okay. I'm going with you. Okay. Because they can't, either they don't know about the opportunity or they are working or they're just not able to because of the hours of these events. So there's so many reasons that it's very, very hard for the people who have direct knowledge to participate. And of course, the system has to be designed in a way that best meets the needs of the customers, both those who are dependent upon transit and those that we want to use transit and they won't unless it's designed better. So, I come from an advocacy background. I've only been an elected official for 5 years, but my whole life and career, because I'm 64 now, has been about being in the community and organizing residents and community groups around things to improve quality of life. And I know that our transit system is very substandard. And I also know that we haven't had a strong public voice in the process. So I'm very excited about the creation of this group. I think, it's essential to make sure that the system is designed well and also that we adequately fund the system. So you know that I'm a county commissioner now and have been for 5 years, but I am seeking higher office where I'll have more of a say in how these things are done. So I'm looking forward to a really ongoing relationship, and I want you to be as strong as you can possibly be. That's what's on my mind. So again, thank you for participating in the public meetings that you have participated in. Thank you for, hold on a second. No, okay, honey, we got to go here. We can't be here. And thank you for your efforts to organize and any way that I can help in publicizing making sure that you have an opportunity to speak at public forums. I'm always here, and I'm quite responsive. I'm on social media all the time. I'm monitoring what people are writing and saying. So, and I'm just a text message or Facebook message away. I can't solve all the problems on my own. One of 13 commissioners without, responsibility for how the budget is made. I'm not, I can participate, I can advocate, but only with the public's strong participation are we going to be able to get these things done.
Right.
So
Thank you,
that's it.
Commissioner.
I want to say thank you. I'm standing by, but I'm going to have to put my grandbaby to nap. So
Okay,
we've been
thank you.
kind of waiting up to participate, and now it's definitely time.
All right. That sounds great. Thank you so
And
much for your
and
support.
actually, let me just say one last thing, that I think,
Oh, yeah.
Alejandra was an amazing person, someone who inspired so many of us. And I think it's so wonderful to continue the efforts. I know, Kevin, you were involved with her for a while, and others too, but to just always remember the passion and the expertise that she brought to it. And I know that you can continue to make real inroads. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we all miss her. Thank you. And next I have Nick, who had registered to speak. Hi, Nick.
Hi. So
So what's up?
yes, I'm not a very good speaker, but I don't know. It's just like I've been thinking, like even before I found out about you guys, I was just like, we needed something like this that could be the voice for the people instead of just, oh, the commissioners just say, oh, this is what the people need, because so many times commissioners, they just say, oh, this is what the people need. And even me living in West Kendall in District 11, which I currently live right now, which I'm moving eventually, but they keep fighting for that Kendall Parkway, and they say, and they said, even from the, what do you call it, I've heard from Juan Zapata that's running for a county mayor, that he's like, oh, it'll improve. Because I was like, it's gonna cause traffic, it's gonna cause this. The mayor's like, no. And I've always thought about it like, and then I was talking to Juan Zapata, he's like, oh, it'll be good because then we can add a transit option to it. But then when I think about it, I'm just like, who's gonna take it? People are gonna be like, oh, it's just easier just for me to drive over there and go over there, And it's just like, and it's even like, I know I ramble on a lot, but it's just crazy, because even where I live in District 11, it's either I walk 15 minutes and I can only take the bus, the 272, during rush hour. If not, I have to take a Uber to like the West Kendall Transit Terminal, and which is like $5 extra. And I'm like, I don't got that kind of money, and I still gotta pay it because I still gotta go to work, which is in Dayland. And it's just like, and I'm like there has to be something better. I've already
Yeah,
contacted my commissioner and everything, and they're like, oh, there's nothing. Literally, there was nothing they could do. It was just like, you're the part that's like cut off, and it's just like,
exactly. And especially with a lot of districts, the commissioners aren't, not that they're not responsive, but they aren't responsive. The issue that we're having a lot is that commissioners don't want to listen to the people. And a lot of people have been floating the idea that they want to leave their cars behind, that they don't feel like driving, that they don't feel like being in traffic for an hour each way a day.
and
And
then
a lot of people like you may not have the option.
yeah, and
So I hear what you're saying.
it's like what kind of pissed me off too was when the county mayor was like, oh, now we're gonna have those little white buses for those little small routes in Kendall and the 35 and all this and that. And I'm just like, because I've heard from somebody who works on my job that he takes the bus on the 72, and he says that on a Saturday, early in the morning, it'll be packed. The bus would just get right by him, not even pick him up because they're full, and he'll have to take Uber. I'm just like, how do you call this? Like, you're over here want to provide world-class transportation. You know, we're supposed to be world class, whatever the mayor says, and we're over here just lagging behind. And all we care about is the rich people.
Yeah, a big issue has been the transit in Kendall and getting people out because of how dense a lot of the areas are. A lot of areas, especially in West Kendall,
Yeah.
from what I've seen on density maps, are very, very close to areas like Hialeah, where there are a lot of people per square mile because of the townhomes that are built. And what's happening a lot is that you have routes like the 72 on Sunset that can no longer support the population that are there. And there's a lot of lack of political will to change that, to not contract them out to save money in the long run, which is disappointing.
And and I kind of had some kind of optimistic when they started the smart routes, you know, the smart plan.
Mhm.
But then because it kind of got the idea of like, oh, we're gonna work together instead of my, you know, one commissioner doing this, one commissioner doing that, everybody fighting for money, you know, and it kind of
Yeah,
and it kind of
a lot
like,
of us had that hope.
you know, and it kind of like and it kind of like and also what pissed me off, because I used to live like 1 year, no, I think it was a year and a half. I lived with my friend in Brickell, but then I moved back to West Kendall, and
Hmm.
over there they have all these little trolleys running everywhere, and I'm like, what about unincorporated Miami-Dade? There's no trolley, we don't have nothing like that. We just get like cut out from the extra
Yeah,
money.
and there were some politicians floating around the idea of trolleys for Kendall, although I'm not sure how effective they would be at mitigating traffic. Um, that was an idea that's been around there.
You know,
I will
because
say this, that yeah. What
I'm
did you have
sorry.
to say?
No, I was just saying like it's just like it was just saying like after when Juan Zapata was the commissioner for District 11, they had an idea of doing like a little trolley route, you know, around like West Kendall and certain places. But his thing was you have to find like little hubs, you know what I mean? And we're so spread out that like people over here, people over there, and so it's kind of hard to find hubs like where you can
Yeah,
like where a lot of people.
West Kendall suffers a lot from irresponsible zoning decisions where there are no downtown areas there. It's all just strip malls. I'll
No,
say I drive there every day. You know, I go to school there. Um, I know the problems with West Kendall firsthand. I live in, I guess, West Kendall. I don't know. There's no area where I live. It's okay.
yeah,
Um, but I will say, with regards to what you said about the smart plan, I feel like a lot of people did get very optimistic about seeing it back in action, with something similar to PTP
but it's
and
even
what people were promised. Um, and then people were promised again with the smart plan. Um, after it was, of course, changed in 2018, it's being changed all the time, and we haven't really seen any action on it.
yeah,
So, I see what you're saying, and I understand the frustration. I
yeah,
share it. This is why this organization exists, and for people like you.
yeah. It's even like how they always talk about, even if it's not a, to me in my opinion, if it's not going to be a metro rail, have like even like a busway, or now what they call the transit way, have like the transit way kind of thing, but have the lights signal to the bus, you know what I mean? Not just have
Hmm.
it where you're sitting there for like extra 5 minutes at each stop. And but the thing about it is that I found out, I think I saw on Miami Herald or something like that, where they were saying if they were to do like a like a busway, they would have to cut all the little left turns out. You know, all the little bitty left
Yes.
turns.
So what FDOT was explaining to me at their meeting in December for the Kendall TDMP meeting, was that there are different options that they have for Kendall Drive. What they chose based on costs, pretty much, because they didn't want to fund the project.
Do they own
Um,
Kendall Drive?
Kendall Drive is a state road, yes.
Okay.
Um, and their option is not set in stone. But what they recommended was curbside BRT, which would add a bus lane on each of the curbs. It would still take away a lane of traffic. Um, to them, that's bad. To me, I don't necessarily agree with the
Me neither.
assumption that that's bad. But to them, that was the most cost-effective route, even though it had more cons than all of the other ones. But whatever, it's what they recommended. Their recommendation for it was flawed, and I've stated that many times. That when they said that it was taking away from the many to get to the few, when they said that people don't want Metro Rail on Kendall, but with the people with whom they had spoken were, you know, affluent or more affluent than the rest of Kendall homeowners from the Palmetto
Yeah,
to 97th Avenue, which is wrong because those people, most of them from the demographics of the area that I've seen based on the census data, most of them are retired and most of them don't have to drive to work. So basing their assumptions on Kendall Drive on them, to me, was flawed. That is, you know, my belief from what they told
yeah,
me at that meeting, and I completely disagreed with them.
yeah. It's just like, and it's like all people. It seems like most of the commission, all they care about is, oh, the car riders and how fast they can get to the destination.
Um, that's that's a common mentality throughout North America because of
Yeah,
how cities were built around the car, because of many different factors, because of different lobbyist organizations, because of firefighters, believe it or not, because of the coding that they have for cities, broad intersections, wider streets, um, all of that for bigger fire trucks. You
you know,
know, there's many different reasons for the city and the way that it became in North
yeah,
America as compared to Europe or Asia.
yeah. But it's also like I've been thinking about like even Miami, they built TODs, like they're building by Douglas Road Station, but it's mostly for like affluent people who probably won't even take the train, you know?
Yeah,
And then
that's a big
and then
issue too. You know, you have the entire county subsidizing the Metro Mover system now, and most of us can't even afford to live near it, which
yeah,
is a big problem. You know, personally, I looked for apartments and I was like, my dreams are crushed now. And especially where I want to live, which is near transit,
yeah,
because that's my whole big thing. I want to live near transit because I don't want to own a car. It's horrible. And
yeah,
unfortunately for me, I work and live and go to school in very different places. So
yeah. So so it's just like it gets to a point where it's like you're hitting a brick wall and the politicians are just like not even listening. I mean, besides Danielle Levine Cava and Eileen Higgins, like all the rest, I've never really seen like really big transit advocates except what's his name, Bobo. I heard about him, and the only reason I heard about him was the people that are doing the Better Bus program project. You know, they're doing the Better Bus project, but it's like it's either like, and I've seen both their maps, and it's like you need like an in between map. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what there was talk about that at the meeting where they introduced it to the commission, about having a map that's somewhere in between the ridership and the coverage concept, which I sort of agree with because I see the ridership concept and you know, I see a lot of areas of Kendall that are not included in that conversation, in that map altogether. And when I look at the demographics and the areas of growth in Kendall, and you're seeing all of these very, very dense areas that don't have any sort of transit whatsoever, you're not going to solve transit. You're not going to solve traffic with that map. You're not going to solve our transit dilemma with that map. And although I agree with a lot of work that they're doing, and Transit Alliance is an amazing organization, I don't necessarily agree with either
Uh,
of the concepts.
you
Although both of them are a great step forward from our current system.
know, like I like having these kind of talks, but people are just like, you know. But it's also like I've also thought about like I've seen like other transit agencies where they do like not even in Florida. I used to live in Dallas, but they have like it's like a coverage area, and then they'll have like on demand kind of transportation kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are some areas that are like that, especially municipalities because they have the money for it. The problem with Miami-Dade County is a lot of areas are not incorporated, um, and our money does not stay here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks.
So, and even FDOT mentioned that when they were speaking about the Kendall corridor. I keep speaking about Kendall because it's what
Yeah,
has
that's fine.
been going on lately. The beach corridor is another one that
Yeah,
they're
like it's
choosing
like,
the locally preferred alternative for. But
the,
especially FDOT noted that there are no municipalities along Kendall Drive.
no,
They didn't have to consult anybody in doing these studies. They didn't have to consult anybody in doing anything because they could just do whatever they want in those areas, which is a problem in my eyes. But some people might think differently, obviously, because of their taxes.
and
I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. Like they treat us like it seems like they treat Kendall like the stepchild. Like all the money just goes away, and they're just like, and if they do give us something, it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's a fair analogy.
it's like, oh, we wanna build more roads for somebody who erased second traffic because the mayor said it's gonna alleviate traffic. And even in
Building more anything is not going to alleviate traffic. I just want to put that out there.
no, I understand that because I even, like I told you earlier, I even talked to Juan Zapata that's running for county mayor alongside the young Levine Cava, and he's just like, it kind of irked me because I was going for him, but it kind of irked me because he's like, oh, the Kendall Parkway, we'll put a transit option in it, but I'm like, it'll alleviate traffic. Even the mayor's like, it'll alleviate traffic. I'm like, you kind of got to go, but
Yeah.
it's just like it's just like that we had all these options when the PTP was created and nothing happens.
Hmm.
People feel like they're money grabby. They're just like, oh, I need money for here. I need money for me. I need money for me. They don't think about it as the whole picture of the county.
Yeah. It is. And I'll say thank you for speaking. Thank you for sharing your opinions. Riders Alliance is, of course, here for you and here to fight for you.
Yes.
So your voice really helps shape our advocacy and who we really need to fight for. So thank you for participating in this meeting.
Yes.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to unmute everybody. And if anybody wants to speak, just let me know and I'll record your name. And I will keep it for our records. So does anybody want to speak?
Yes, I'd like to. Hey, Kevin, it's Neil Ryan. And to anybody else, hi.
Hi,
I'd
Ryan.
like to speak. I'd like to speak about some of the renderings I was doing. I had this new one for the beach plan. I basically turned the Omni Transportation Center into something like brand new.
Okay.
For the beach expansion.
Yeah. So what's up?
I was thinking that we could kind of go with like a futuristic angled roof design. I don't know. This is stuff I've been coming up with. The renderings are all just temporary. They're not actually like tangible proof that we're actually going to do something, but they're a cool idea into like what could be the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that my MDT Flexity rendering actually got a lot of press. That was actually kind of good. Anyway, also, I think the Omni Terminal could actually use a bit of work because last time I was there, it was just a mess. That place is just so dirty, and they just need to basically make a revamp because they're going to be doing a new metro, basically a new metro mover line. So they might want to like just make it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Because I went there and it was stingy. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and also that I stepped down as the COO and went to the social media department.
Yeah, we'll miss you on the board, but you'll still be in our group, so we won't miss you too much.
All right.
All right. Let me see, because I have Andres Corrales who joined. Andres, would you like to speak?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd just like to say that this is a great idea. I feel like, just like what the previous speaker said, that this is something that's definitely necessary for Miami-Dade County. And my question is, what is it exactly that are our goals as far as action steps that we can do to make sure that we achieve the goals that we want to? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Riders Alliance is an organization that is a transit advocacy group for riders who are riding the system, but not necessarily only for riders, because I myself don't ride public transit all the time. I
Okay.
drive my car to school and to work and back home because I don't have the option, which is the whole big fight that we, obviously are fighting.
Mhm.
Our main goal is to allow the public to advocate for themselves by giving them the information, which is why we have our informational site. I try my best to find all of the events that are going on in Miami-Dade County, to allow people to go there and voice their opinions and all of that. But regardless of that, we're not just pushing people to do it themselves, because it's not DIY activism, even though that would be the ultimate angle, that everybody fights for transit because everybody should.
Mhm.
But it's also us going to county meetings and speaking with officials and getting plans in action, because there's a lot of politicians that are actually very receptive to transit advocacy, because they themselves have to sit in traffic every day.
Okay.
It's not enough that they're in cars. A lot of politicians should take public transportation every so often to see how the other half lives, in my opinion. But a lot of them are becoming very receptive to the idea that we should build public transit not as a service to those of us that are at or below poverty who don't have the option of having a car, but for everybody, because it's a service that everybody can use. Um, so the mentality is changing. So we are, teaming up with different politicians, especially like Commissioner Cava, who has been very receptive with us. By the way, this is not an endorsement of Cava.
Mhm.
She's just been the one who has been reaching out to us. She was very kind enough to go to Alejandro's memorial, all of that. I know somebody had brought it up and I was like, this is not an endorsement. She's just the only one who registered. I told everybody the same information.
Okay.
So regardless of that, somebody wants to join. I think that's just Orion again.
And then I guess my
Um,
follow-up question is, how did you get in touch with that commissioner? Because I've been trying to get in touch with Commissioner Pepe Diaz, because I wanted to ask him a few questions about the Dolphin Park and Ride station.
mhm,
Like just to share that information with the people that, because I mean, I went to FIU, I live in Sweetwater, and I think
mhm.
that it's a great idea, but we need something that's also closer to FIU that connects us to downtown. Um, so I just want to ask him more questions, see what the next steps would be for that. And like I said, I tried reaching out to them, and there was a lot of gatekeepers that I was introduced to before I could even speak to him. Like I still haven't spoken to him, and I reached out, I think, about 3 weeks ago, and I was told that I was going to get a call back. But now I'm thinking of maybe just going to visit. But I know that there's 2 offices that he has in his website, so I don't know which one to go to. So my question is, when you're getting in contact or trying to get a hold of these commissioners, what's the best way to do so?
To be honest with you, a lot of different commissioners have a lot of different ways to get in touch. For example, Kava is always on social media, and so is Higgins.
Okay.
Those commissioners are very active with their constituency. Some of them are less. I know that Commissioner Diaz isn't as, they're not as, how do you say it? They're not as interactive.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue that we run into is that some of them don't take your calls. Some of them don't respond to emails. Some of them don't respond to us posting bus stops that don't have any accommodations, like we've been doing in the bus stop campaign, which I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love that campaign. But the issue is that, I've heard a lot of people say from Commissioner Diaz that he's not as responsive. So I can definitely put out word to his office that we're looking into that,
Okay.
because they don't like it when I email them, which is fine, because it gets them moving. So I will let them know that one of our supporters is trying to reach out.
Definitely. All right. Well, then thank you so
Um,
much. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I commend you guys for this. This is something that's awesome. It's amazing. And Miami-Dade County will be better because of this. Hopefully it doesn't take, a long time for our vision to become a reality. But I feel like without us doing something like this, it will never happen. So
okay.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
for coming to the meeting.
Sure.
I'm very appreciative.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So, Nick, did you have to say something?
Hold on. Yeah, I have a question. So when since the elections are happening, when the elections
Mm-hmm.
happen for like county mayor and commissioners and even like city officials, if you wanna do city official, you know, what I'm mostly gearing towards is if you guys could put out like a recommendation kind of thing for who in each district who's the better transit advocate, for who you guys would recommend. You know how like Miami Herald puts out a recommendation, so and so puts out a recommendation. Like you guys put out a recommendation for who's the better transit advocate, so that we can go out to the public and say, look, in your district, this is the person that's gonna fight for you for transit. And not just be like, who do I vote for? Like, oh, I just vote for so and so because he's been in office already, hasn't done jack.
So yeah. We're allowed to do that because we're we're not a 501c3, so we're allowed to be a political organization. Um, I know that Alejandra had reservations about doing that. It was, outright making a decision, this is the person that we're supporting
No,
for that
no,
position. But what I have been thinking about doing for the election, so thank you for asking that, because
yeah,
I forgot about talking about that. What I had in mind was creating kind of like a gallery or something, maybe on our website, or posting it out, of just the positions of the candidates on issues of transit. So for example, Commissioner Cava has voted against changing to buses in South Dade. She voted against the budget because it didn't do enough for several things, including public transportation. And then you have other commissioners who did vote for the budget, who did vote to change it to the busway, like Eileen Higgins. So we can do that.
yeah. Just have
Just
so
do their actions. It doesn't even have to say if it's good or bad. We can allow
no,
people to
but
judge for
just
themselves because, yeah, exactly. I agree.
something so people are more
Um,
informed, because instead of just saying, oh, because I've seen people, and this is what pisses me off, is that people be like, oh, I just vote whatever Miami Herald says. Okay, they don't even do their research. At
mhm.
least you're showing research that people can go on, and then also link it to their actual page so they can do more research. Just so people have information and not just
Yeah,
be a blind voter and just, oh, I vote for whoever the most popular on the news. Okay.
yeah. That's something that we've been thinking about, especially with the elections upcoming.
Yeah.
Probably closer to the elections because people tend to forget things as they go to the polls. Um, but yeah, putting it out on our website, which gets, views or whatever, and doing it on Twitter as well, where people see it. I think that that would be a good idea because, yeah, like you said, people need to be
Yeah, what's
informed.
that
And
about?
that's the whole mission of Writers Alliance, to inform people,
Yeah.
so that they can make the decisions that best
And
affect
go
them
and have more like
in local government.
have more
Yeah.
like community where you go out to the community and tell people, look, this is the people running. Just have like a little pamphlet. You can just hand them the pamphlet and that's it. And then
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. We might do like a page, like writersmiami.org/elections, that we can like, because I know that the Better Bus Project does it. Like they put up those little stickers that you say, hey, this route might be changing.
yeah.
So we might talk to somebody if we can, maybe do advertising or something like that. But for all of that, we need money. So if anybody would like to donate, please go to our website, writersmiami.org, and press donate.
I wish I could.
And we would appreciate it.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
It's always like
So
most of the people that take the bus are always like, you know
the
what I mean?
ones that don't have the money to donate, and I understand
They're the ones
that.
that want to change, but they don't have the money. And it's like, and the people that do have the money, they're just like, oh well, I don't want to help. I'm like, come on.
Mhm.
We have to think of some kind of funding source.
Yeah, I'm looking into that. So thank you. Let me ask the last person. Um,
I'm here.
uh,
It's Danny. I just
Hi,
have a
Danny.
child running in all the time. So that's why
No,
I'm
it's
staying
okay.
muted.
I just wanted to ask if you wanted to speak
No,
before.
no. A lot of people, I've been verbose online. There's not much
Yeah,
more to say right now. I'm just waiting to see if hopefully something gets done in January and
yeah.
go from there.
I'm. I just want to say I'm very appreciative of the effort that you're doing for accessibility in this county for our public transportation system. You're such an important voice, and I need you to keep it up because it's great.
I'm trying. Thank you. Well, when you're stuck in your condo and you can't really leave,
I
there's
can
not much
imagine.
else to do, especially
No,
when Em goes back to
let me correct
school.
myself. I can't even imagine, what you go through, and it's very helpful what you're doing for the transit system because I'm sure that there are so many people like you who just don't know how to get their voice heard.
And what's
So
pissing me
the fact,
off? What's
mhm,
pissing me off is, in the scheme of things, I'm not as disabled as a lot of people, and if I'm having trouble, it's worse for them. And it's sorry. This is why I don't like to speak where I can't edit myself because I'll just go off on a rant,
mhm.
just
It's okay.
frustration. But thank you, and keep it
Yeah,
up
thank you
too.
for your work.
We
Yeah,
gotta
we're
work
trying.
together.
Oh, definitely. I'll let you know if we're ever doing something in the Miami area. My plan is to yes, do something in the Miami area. Um, just renting a space over there is just kind of expensive, and we don't have money, so we are looking into that. We're looking into funding ourselves, and then eventually doing events like that, like sort of like the Better Bus Project. Um, those events that they were doing to inform the public of it, something like that, so that we can have people's opinions because that's really what matters. Because the Writers Alliance is not my opinions that are just being formed into an organization. It's the opinions of everybody culminating into one organization that really fights for that opinion or for the want of the transit residents, the want and need, because it's both. Um, so thank you for that. Thank you everybody who came. Um, Let me just, Nick, did you want to speak before we? You're good.
Yeah, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if she's listening, but I just want to thank Daniel Viviancava for like everything she's done so far. Her and Higgins have been like the most vocal out of everything. Because because she's, they've been the most vocal, and out of them two, I've never seen any other commissioner talk about transit as much as they have, and about trying to get transit, because none of the commissioners, they just don't seem to care. So I just want to thank her so much.
Hey,
That's it.
yeah. Thank you for coming to this meeting. Thank everybody for coming to this meeting. I appreciate everybody and their support and their voices, because at the end of the day, it's really what matters to our community. So from here, a lot of people have said that they were gonna come to the meeting, did not. However, I will be posting this on YouTube and tweeting about it for the people who weren't able to make it. Of course, all of you can reach out to me. I'm always available. My work phone number is on the website, our contact page. You can also email me at kevin@writersmiami.org and go to our website for more information at writersmiami.org. So thank you all for coming, and I will be having a meeting in person hopefully soon. So thank you and have a great day.